Okay, folks, continuing our series of interviews here. I'm here with Martin Raubal, who is a professor of geoinformation engineering at ETH Zurich in Switzerland, one of the best universities in all of Europe. Hi, Martin. How are you doing?
Doing great. Hi, Brent.
So I have a list of questions for you here, as you know. And the first question I'm going to ask you is just to explain to everyone your research interests.
Okay, so basically, in my group, we focus on two research issues. The one deals with cognitive engineering for geographic information science. So basically, bringing cognitive aspects into the design of geospatial services and tools. And we also have a mobile eye tracking lab that is, most people know static eye trackers. That basically where you can, get sequences of gaze patterns. And we're doing this research with a mobile eye tracker. So that means that we can go out into the field and really find out, what is going on when people are trying to solve their wayfinding problems, when they interact with mobile devices. And that provides feedback to the design of these tools. The second area is actually how to use geographic information systems for energy, for all types of energy. Meaning that, if you do renewable energy planning, you create a new wind park that has to be connected to the energy network. So we do transmission line planning there in terms of a multi-criteria decision analysis. And we also focus on spatiotemporal optimization problems, how to locate biomass power plants, etc.
Okay, so the second question I had was, can you tell me a bit about how you began working in the spatial computing or the geographic information area?
Well, I have to start a little bit earlier there because when I graduated from high school, I actually wanted to study law. And in the vacation before starting the study, I was trying to find a job to pay for my travels. And so I got a job at the local surveying office. And this is how I, became familiar with surveying engineering. And I think 1 week before the semester started, I decided to study surveying engineering. And then when I did that, actually, I became a teaching assistant. And it was the time when my professor, Andrew Frank, came to Vienna and started the GIS program. And this is how I ended up in GIS, went to the US for a master's degree, did a PhD in geoinformation, and that's how I got into the area of spatial things, spatial engineering, spatial computing.
You have one of my favorite stories about finding spatial computing.
Good.
Okay, so what do you think has been the most important new technology or research paper in the spatial computing area in the past few years?
That's a difficult question. I wouldn't want to limit myself to naming one particular thing because, when they came up with location-based services, they were always talking about the killer application. And I was always wondering, why are you looking for the killer application? It's already there. It's navigation systems. So last couple of years, I would still say that location-based services is really something that has, brought some new ideas into the spatial computing area, and it actually already went mainstream. But in terms of the progress and development there in the area, I think it's some of the new interaction modes that fascinate me. So it's, audio instructions, it's just interacting with various tools with this system, and this whole area that you're quite familiar with, the GeoHCI. This integration of geospatial stuff, as we name it, and human-computer interaction.
Well, Martin, you've given a great preview of Module 7 of the course. We'll be dedicating a whole module to geographic human-computer interaction. So
Very
thank
good.
you. I'll pay you later. Okay. Next up, I was wondering if you could talk a bit about the project you're working on right now that has you particularly excited.
Yeah, I started my job here about 3.5 years ago. And, I always worked in the area of spatial cognition and wayfinding. And one particular problem there was if we wanted to find out where people make wayfinding errors there were certain methods that you could apply, like, watching people, measuring some kind of stuff, but so it was always the question, where did people have problems, but we never could get to the question of why people had these problems. So my idea was to come up with that mobile eye tracking lab here at ETH Zurich, and I think that actually is very exciting for me and for my group, because that gives us some ideas about why do people have problems during interaction with mobile systems or during wayfinding. So, and we combined that with location functionality, so we actually call it location-aware mobile eye tracking, because at the same time, when we know where people are looking at, we know where they are. And we know when they look at like landmarks during wayfinding, when they look at their mobile device, when they need help, when a decision point is very complex. And we can get a lot of this information just from the gaze patterns alone. So by looking at the gaze patterns, we can automatically find out whether people are lost, whether they have problems with orientation, with finding landmarks, and so on. So this whole map matching process. And I think mobile eye tracking brought really a new perspective into my research, which I am quite excited about.
Yeah, some of that work coming out of your group is really quite impressive. The paper at the workshop last year, I very much enjoyed. Well, thank you, Martin, for your time.
You're welcome, Brent. It's nice talking to you.